Now I just got to do a quick test here. There we go. Sorry about that. Now I am live on air here, and you are watching Build Your Online Audience with social media, MailChimp, and WordPress. I am your presenter, Dennis J. Smith, and today we're going to talk about different ways that you can use social media, MailChimp, which is an email application, and WordPress, which is a website application that some of you may or may not be familiar with, but we're going to talk about how I have used all of those to sell copies of my book, both on Facebook, my website, and through email marketing, and also sites like Twitter and Google Plus too. So we're going to talk about all of those. So I'm going to switch screens here so that I can see my slides, and I hope that everybody is able to see everything okay. If you're watching on Google Plus, the chat is actually over on my website. If you go to webinar.dennisjsmith.com and click on this particular webinar, you can sign up, and then that'll send you the link to the page that we're actually broadcasting from with the ability to do chat. I will be taking, for those of you who are on that link, I will be taking questions. I'm going to try to take some questions during today's webinar or near the end of the webinar, but I'm going to mostly focus on giving you some good quality information so that you can use or utilize some of the tools that I'm using when it comes to social media, MailChimp, and WordPress. So let's talk a little bit about myself so you can get an idea about my background. First of all, I'm a self-published author. I wrote my book about 3 years ago. I had decided that after having many different jobs and all of that, I'd been on Facebook for a while and decided to write a book. And that turned into public speaking. I was doing a show on Blog Talk Radio, Social Media Talk, which was a podcast that I was doing, and I've been thinking about getting back into that because podcasting is actually a good way at building your audience online for those who would be following you and eventually buying the products or services that you might be offering. I do social media on WordPress, but I'm also very familiar with MailChimp, and that's why we're talking about MailChimp today, because it's an app that I use, and we'll give you some information on that. I own a company here in Idaho called Influence Social Marketing, and also greenhostusa.com, which is hosting for those of you who run websites on the WordPress platform. So anytime that I build a website for my client, I offer them hosting so that I can provide them with personal service. That award there that I'm holding is an award that I received a few years ago for my book as one of the top 50 authors in Idaho. So it's an award that I still have around, and that was at the event over in Boise. And I've been on Facebook and Twitter since 2007. I'm also on LinkedIn and Pinterest and all of the different other websites like Instagram and all of the different services that are out there when it comes to social media. I'm on them, but there might be a few that I haven't been on yet, but most of the major players I'm on. Let's talk just a little bit about the book so you can know how you can get yourself a free copy of the book. The book covers WordPress, Blogger, Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Blog Talk Radio, and a lot more. This is a 2013 revised edition, so I revised it last year, and it's available on paperback and Amazon Kindle, and you can see there that it typically averages about 4.7 stars out of 5 out of those who have reviewed the book. And you can purchase or download the book at my latest website, which is mybook.dennisjsmith.com. And there's just a couple of comments that people have left on Amazon.com for the reviews for the book. I'm going to just pause here just for a moment for me to take a look at a couple of things. Bear with me here just for a moment. I'm using new software from runclick.com, which is webinar software, and if you're interested in that, at the bottom, if you're watching me on the link for the broadcast, at the bottom there's a link there for RunClick if you're interested in it. So I'm still getting used to it there. I know that there's a way for me to look at the questions, but for right now I am not seeing that. So we're going to go ahead and move on. And if you do have questions, I'll be more than happy to once the webinar is over with. There's a chat box at the bottom that says talk to us, and you can put in your name and email address, and that will notify me through email that someone has a question, and I will be more than happy to get back with you and answer those questions for you. What are we going to learn today? So we're going to talk about social media marketing. We're going to talk about the sites that are out there and some of the reasons why you might want to use those sites to build your audience. We're going to talk about custom Facebook fan pages because there's a lot of talk about engagement on Facebook fan pages for business, or business page sometimes they're referred as. And we're going to be talking about ways that you can customize that to do a little bit more than the basic timeline wall photos and videos that you might see on a typical page. You can go a lot further with that, and that's one of the reasons why Facebook has always been popular for businesses, because it gives businesses the option of adding more tabs. That helps your engagement with your fans on Facebook by doing stuff like that. And I'll talk about ways that you can use those to gain more followers when it comes to your business or your product or a book or something like that that you might have. We'll talk about email marketing some, and we'll talk about MailChimp definitely. And we're going to talk about Leadpages, which is a landing page application that I use, and great way to capture leads. It's one of the top ways that you can convert somebody over to a buyer is by using something like Leadpages. We'll talk about WordPress and why you should be using it, and also the plugins that give WordPress more functionality. We'll cover some of those plugins that are great for building your online audience. And then I'll give you some resources, some websites, and then when we're done with today's webinar, I'm going to send you a PDF that I created that's going to have a list of all of the links that I talk about today. So if for some reason you don't have time to write those down, don't worry. I will be more than happy to get those out to you. So let's go ahead and move on, and let's talk about the networks that you should be on. Well, the first one, of course, is Facebook, and I have a suspicion that most people on today's webinar are already on Facebook. It's the largest out there, and as of March of this year, 1.2 billion active users on Facebook. I think when I started on Facebook, it was probably less than 500,000 maybe, and I mean, that's huge when you think about the population of the United States, which is over 300,000, maybe approaching 300 million, 300, boy, I can't think today, but you know what I mean, and it's its own country. The next one that you want to definitely be on, and this is a great way to build your audience, is video and YouTube. There's over 1 billion active users, and there's talk that that YouTube is actually passive Facebook when it comes to social networking, although they work differently. Where YouTube is videos and commenting, Facebook is so much more than that. But I always tell people that if you're on YouTube, you want to make sure that you share your YouTube videos over to Facebook, but also upload your videos to Facebook on your Facebook fan page, because those behave differently. When you upload a video to Facebook, it actually puts a button on there that when somebody hovers over the video, that if they're not already a fan of your page, that when they hover over it, there's a like button, and then they automatically start following your page. So not only share from YouTube, make sure that you're uploading videos to your Facebook page. Twitter is the next one. Over 271 million active users, not 271 active users, and over 500 million tweets that are sent daily. And that also, depending on what's going on around the world or in the country, like when somebody passes away, that number probably goes way up there. So there's a lot of tweets going out daily. Great way for people to follow you online. Twitter, they have a new thing called Twitter cards. You'll want to look into those. Those are a great way of getting information to build your list of followers. Google Plus, I'm using Google Plus right now to broadcast this Hangout, which gives me the ability to go live and not only broadcast here where I'm from, but around the world. Anyone can watch because it broadcasts to YouTube. There's a different crowd on Google Plus. I think people are a little bit more business savvy than they are on Facebook. There are games and things like that on Google Plus, but it seems like all of that is going on Facebook, and there's more of a different type of dialogue going on Google Plus. So if you're not on Google Plus, you definitely should check it out and make sure that you have some kind of presence on there. Pinterest, it's the fastest growing. It's very visual. It's about pinning photos. So if you would imagine a corkboard in a dorm room or something like that, where somebody would pin up their favorite photos or something like that, that's what Pinterest is about. And definitely a good way to build your audience, because you can pin something on Pinterest. Let's say when I'm done with this webinar and I have a replay, I can definitely pin that onto Pinterest, and when somebody sees that and clicks on that, it would direct them to my website, and they would be able to watch the video, and they might have to enter in a name and an email address to watch that replay, and therefore I'm building my audience by doing something like that. LinkedIn is the professional network, so that's for people who are networking. They might be looking for a job or a new career. It's still one of the fastest growing sites out there, as well as Pinterest. But if you're doing something professional and you're running a business, you should be on LinkedIn and have a presence there. And then the last one that I have on there is Instagram, say it with images. A lot of the younger generation is into Instagram and moving away from Facebook, which is interesting because Instagram is owned by Facebook, but it's just a different way to get your message out there. You want to make sure that when you're doing something like this, that it's not all about business, that it's a lot of personal stuff, so you can build that relationship with those who are following you. It's key to build those relationships in order to build that like and trust, so that when somebody decides to purchase something, they're going to purchase it from somebody that they know, like, and trust. That's who they're going to do business with. So don't make it all about business. Add some images, make it personal, let people get to know you. Let's talk about those custom fan pages. And while we're doing that, I'm actually going to try and move between the slides and my browser. So hopefully I can do that with Hangouts. I should be able to, but sometimes, with technology, it can be a little bit difficult sometimes. So we're going to talk about what can you do with custom pages, and then I'll see if I can, I'll show you actually some of the tools down there at the bottom. You can display your blog, so you can pull in what's called an RSS feed. Basically, when you're using WordPress and you have a blog, you can pull the feed, so all of your posts, so that those posts show up on your Facebook fan page. And so somebody who comes to your Facebook fan page can read your blog post from Facebook, and then if they want to share or follow or read more, they can potentially go to your blog, and when they move over to your blog, you might have something set up to capture their information and then therefore build your audience. You can display Twitter, you can display YouTube videos, Pinterest, Instagram, you name it. Lots of tools out there that allow you to do this. You can do webinar registration and replay, so you can get people to sign up for a webinar just like this and replay it and ask for a name and an email address. You don't want to ask for more than that typically when you're gathering information from someone who's becoming a follower. The more information that you tend to request, the less likely the chances of somebody signing up for your mailing list decreases. You can hold contests, and you can also do sweepstakes. Those are great ways to get people to sign up for your mailing list, that you have a giveaway or some kind of sweepstakes, giving away maybe a gift card or something like that, and you request that they give their email address or name to sign up. Coupons, so if you're a business out there who uses coupons to get people to come in, you can set it up so that in order for them to see the coupon, they have to enter in information or like your page, and then you can send them coupons, or they can grab a coupon off of Facebook. The last one that I have on there, and you can do more than just what I have listed, e-commerce is a big one. You can do e-commerce on sites like Facebook and have a store set up. And of course, that's a great way to build a list, because you can get people to sign up for your specials, or when they purchase product, they automatically become part of your mailing list, and then you have a long-term customer. How do you create them? Well, there's services out there. There's different sites out there. One that I use is called shortstack.com. PageModo is another one, and they have more than just the ability to create custom pages. A lot of these, like PageModo, also has the ability for you to set up your posts for Facebook or Twitter or something like that, so they automatically get sent out. So you can have a little bit of automation with that and save some time potentially. TabSite is another one, and Woobox is one that I use a lot because they've got some free apps. Let's go over and see if we can take a look here for just a moment, and we'll take a look at Woobox so you can see what that looks like. So I'm just going to switch screens here and reshare out my browser. I'm going to share that out, and we're going to switch over to Woobox. And there we are. So we're taking a look at woobox.com, and that's WOOBOX.com. Remember that at the end of this webinar, I will be sending out a PDF with a list of these sites that we're talking about today. So if you're not able to write this down, I'll send that out to you. Excuse me, just a moment. Okay, so we're looking at woobox.com, and you can try it for free. We're going to hover over this. Here's all of the different things that you can do with Woobox. So we talked about sweepstakes and coupons, but there's also photo contests, HTML fan gating, which basically when somebody likes on a page, they see one thing before they like it, and they see another after they like it. You can do video contests and instant wins, polls. Pin to win, which is with Pinterest, tab for Twitter, not something that, okay, that's the ability to have a tab that displays your Twitter feed. Same with Instagram, Pinterest, and YouTube, and we've talked about that, but here's some more down here. Some of those are free, and then others you have to sign up, and we'll click on this pricing here, and you can see that it starts out at, if you want to use all apps, there's the free apps right there, and then these other apps, it gives you an idea of what the cost of that is. So let's move back here. We'll switch back, and we'll take a look at the slides. And we'll move on with the slides, and then we'll come back to the browser again and take a look at some of those other websites. So again, PageModo and ShortStack and TabSite and WooBox. Those are the ones that are most used, but there are other ones out there. If you do searches for custom Facebook fan pages on Google, then you might find some other ones out there. Here's some examples too. These are examples that I pulled from, I believe it was WooBox, and this is Noodles and Company. This is a restaurant that I've been to that has some really good food. You can tell that it's getting close to dinner time here. And we've got the restaurant here. And then here's an example of the HTML fan gate or light gate. And I've heard that Facebook might be moving away from this. I'm not sure. But for now, this gives you the ability to give somebody one page, and then after they like your fan page, then it shows them something else. So let's move on and let's talk about email marketing. And again, if you have any questions, there's that box there at the bottom right that says talk to us, and you can enter in your name and your email address. And after the webinar is done, I will look through those, and I'll be more than happy to respond to those. Actually, it might be a day before I respond to that because I've got a commitment this evening. But let's talk about email marketing. Email marketing is huge, and you might think that with the use of social media networking that email might not be as effective. That's not true. There are studies that show that, as the first sentence there goes, or the paragraph there, according to a recent survey, email is 40 times more effective for marketers than Facebook and Twitter. So I have down there now, that's a serious ass kicking when it comes to marketing your business. I know people who are doing email marketing and killing it, making a ton of money on ebooks and other things that they might be selling with email marketing. It's all about building relationships and building that list, and the money is in the list, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. Studies have also found that the average order is about 17% higher than those that come through social media sites such as Facebook. So if you have a business, you're doing e-commerce, chances are that your orders are going to be 17% higher for those who came to your site through an email marketing campaign than Facebook. There is no better way to build an audience of clients or customers by consistently offering valuable content to build your loyal followers. So it's about giving out good content. I know people like Nathan Barry at nathanbarry.com who gives out a ton of useful content, and by doing that he builds a relationship with those who follow them. And when he's got something that he comes out with, like his book Authority, which talks about self-publishing, chances are people are going to shell out the money to buy it because they know that they've gotten great content before in the past from him. So definitely email marketing is something that you want to consider. It is the #1 preferred channel for permission-based marketing messages by a wide margin, and an ROI, which is return on your investment, of around 4,300% according to the Direct Marketing Association. Email pays for itself, and it's also eco-friendly. It's not like junk mail, which I hate getting and having to go through to make sure that I'm not tossing out something important. Well, there is a lot of junk mail out there with email too, but still, it's eco-friendly. Email marketing is still the most cost-effective way of doing a promotion, and that probably includes marketing on Facebook. So the one that we're going to talk about today, there's so many ways that you can do email marketing. There are other ones out there like Constant Contact and Infusionsoft and Aweber. I use one called MailChimp, and the reason why is because it's free for under 2,000 subscribers. So if you're a small business and you're getting started, then it's perfect for you. There are other plans that start off at about $10, which is still affordable. Over 6 million people are using MailChimp to create, send, and track their email. It's very easy to learn. It's got a great interface, almost comical interface there with the monkey or the chimp down there at the bottom. Lots of mobile-ready templates. So they've already designed stuff for you. It's already ready to go, and they're great-looking templates that are mobile-ready. By that, I mean that they're responsive, that depending on your device, whether it be a smartphone, a tablet, an iPad, iPhone, anything like that, it's going to scale in size accordingly and display according to the device so that it still looks good. Mobile sign-up app for smartphones and tablets. So not only do they have mobile-ready and mobile-friendly templates, they have an app called Chimpity-Doo. Sounds kind of funny, but if you go into the Play Store, Google Play Store, or into the iTunes Store and search for that, then you'll find it and you can download that too. It works better on a tablet because what it does is it allows you to have a custom form. So if you go to an event, and let's say you're one of those who maybe have an event somewhere at a convention center, or you're out doing business or whatever, and you have a small tablet. I have a Nexus 7. It's a 7-inch tablet, and I can open that app up, and all they have to do is put in their name and email address, if that's the only thing that you're asking for, and enter, and automatically you've got somebody now on your list, on your mailing list. And there's an article on MailChimp.com, and it's about a company that grew their list from 0 to 10,000 in 1 year by going around to these different events, and they had a table set up and they had a tablet and gathered that information one name and email address at a time. So the money is in the list, and that's a saying that is used a lot in the email marketing circles. It basically means that when you have a list of followers, it's like gold. These are people that you're going to be able to market to, send free information to, announce new products, launch a product. And so if you're wanting to learn more about MailChimp, I put together a series of 6 free videos that will show you the different things that you have to do to get MailChimp set up and ready to go. That's dennisjsmith.com/MailChimp, and that's free, and all you have to do is just sign up for that, and your first video gets sent to you, and then every other day or every few days to give you time in between to check out what you've learned, you'll get a new email in your inbox. And that's something that I set up specifically using autoresponders with MailChimp. So let's move on and talk about WordPress. We've talked about email marketing, we've talked about social media, some of the things that you want to get set up with social media. Now we're going to talk about WordPress. Now, this particular webinar was not meant to go really into detail about all of these, just kind of giving you some basic information to get you started with some of the things that I've done to sell my product. And like I was saying in the beginning, I've sold almost 1,000 copies of my book by myself, specifically using these tools. And so that's why I'm covering this information. And when we're done with today's webinar, I will also be showing you a new course that I have available on Udemy.com that specifically teaches you different ways that you can market your business with WordPress. So that particular course goes more into detail about WordPress, and then the last one there, the free one, will give you some more information on MailChimp. Now, why use WordPress to grow your audience? Well, you can allow others to share your posts to Facebook, Google+, and Twitter, which will drive more traffic to your website. By this, what I mean is that anytime that you publish a new article on your blog or a post, which that's what it's called on WordPress, is you can have social sharing buttons. Try saying that fast. So these social sharing buttons go on the bottom or the top of your post, and they're buttons for Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Google+, and all of these other different services out there like Stumbled Upon, Reddit. It will allow people to share out your posts to their followers on Facebook and Twitter, and hopefully a certain amount of those people will come back to your website if you have good content and become part of your audience. So WordPress can help you build your fan base on your social media sites too. So again, when you have somebody coming to your website, they can see that you're on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and start following you. It's the largest self-hosted blogging and publishing tool in the world, used by a lot of websites. Millions of websites are using WordPress, and it's been around for over 10 years now. So that means that there's lots of support, plugins and themes, all of that. And plugins and themes, basically what we're talking about there, themes give WordPress its look and feel, so you can change the look and feel according to the type of business that you have. There's a lot of different themes out there. Themeforest.net is one of the sites that I use when I'm looking for a theme for a particular client. And the plugins give WordPress more functionality, and we'll talk about some of those plugins that are specifically for growing your audience when you're using WordPress. It's used by millions of websites, including major companies. So CNN uses it for their blog, and a lot of the big companies out there use it for their blogs, and there are many websites that use it just for their website. Their main website is created with just WordPress. If you go to wordpress.org, which is the main website for WordPress, and look under Showcase, Showcase will show you all of the different ways that people are using WordPress. It's great for small businesses and entrepreneurs because it's very affordable. Hosting for WordPress is very inexpensive. By hosting, it's where your website is stored, so that when somebody types in mywebsite.com, it'll go out and find your website and display it accordingly to on the browser that the user is using. It's fairly easy to set up and maintain. Sometimes people have others maintain it for them, but very easy for the average user to get that set up and go. So set up and ready to go. WordPress plugins, let's take a quick break here for just a moment, and I want to remind you that at the bottom right-hand corner where it says Talk to Us, you can type in your name and your email address, and you can send me a question if you would like, and then I will answer that as soon as I can for you and get you an answer. So let's talk about plugins for WordPress and capturing leads with these plugins that are both free and premium. And we'll take a look at some of these too. So we'll move back over to the browser here in just a moment. Contact Form 7 is a great plugin that is free that allows you to create contact forms so you can have people put in their name, email address, maybe an address, drop-down list of choices. There's many things that you can do with Contact Form 7. Gravity Forms is the one that I use. It's premium, so it does cost some, but it's got more functionality because it's got modules that you can use with it. The data is stored in a database, and it can also be displayed using other plugins that are available out there. There's one called, I believe it's brand new, it's called Gravity View, and it will display the data that you capture. So if you want to give people the ability to edit their data, you can certainly do that with Gravity Forms. SumoMe is a pop-up, and it is showing there just to the right of the list. And you can see where it says join our newsletter and enter email address and subscribe now. Very simple, free to use, and it's one that I've used on my website just to try it out, but I have a more sophisticated pop-up that I'm using that gives me a little bit more ability, but this one is very nice and very simple to use. Optinmonster is one that gives you more creativity to make beautiful looking forms on your website so that you can gather data. Maybe at the bottom of a post you might have a form that displays. I use another one that's out there. And you know the name, oh, it's right below it, Hybrid Connect. If it wasn't in front of me, I would have missed it. So Hybrid Connect and Optinmonster are basically alike, and they're just ways to create really nice looking, professional looking forms on your website. And I use that on DennisJSmith.com. You'll see that if you move around in my website, I use it on there in different areas to capture different information after somebody's read an article, and to either offer them a chapter in my book or to offer them the MailChimp videos. It just depends on the article that they might read. Hello Bar and Icegram are basically the same thing. It gives you the ability to drop down a bar on the top of your website, and you can time that so that somebody might be on your website for a few seconds before that actually shows up. You can set that, and it just kind of comes out and in your face type thing, but it's still not like it's kind of subtle so that it doesn't stand out too much, because a lot of times when you have things popping up and stuff like that, some people tend to have issues with that. I don't myself. I don't mind a pop-up if I'm getting some good information. And when you're marketing and you're selling, it's something that you have to do to be able to collect information and be able to grow your business. Let's move over to Chrome, and we'll take a look at those. So we're just going to see my face here just for a few moments while I select my browser, and we'll go back to that and take a look at that. Let's look at MailChimp real quick here. We didn't move over to that. Here's the MailChimp.com website, and you can see there it gives you some information on the features, pricing, support, their blog. This is where you log in, and when you log in, you would see your mailing lists and your campaigns and things like that. So this is MailChimp.com. This is the one that I recommend. Again, there are others out there like Aweber and Constant Contact. And there's one that my friend has that's really cool called Convertkit. If you're into what's called drip marketing campaigns, check that out at convertkit.com. Here's Optinmonster, and this will give you more information on how it works. And again, these will be on the PDF that I send out. We'll have a list of these links, so if you're not able to look at them now or write that down, then I will send that list. And then the information on pricing, you can take a look at that. Here's my website called ilearnwp.com, and there we go. So we have Sumo Me that just popped up, and you can see I've got just this brief thing. I'll teach you about Google+, sign up, and I'll send you the chapter from my book on Google+, and they just enter in an email address, and I've got the button there that says let's do this, and you can see here it's powered by Sumo Me. I'm going to click and X out of that there because I want to show you this is Icegram, so it's like Hello Bar. Hello Bar is like that, but Icegram has a little bit more that you can do, and if you go to icegram.com, you can check out this plugin. It's free. It's not in the WordPress repository. I'm not sure like why they haven't done that yet. I know that it's made by a company over in India, and I just came across this in one of the Facebook forums on WordPress that I belong to. That's something too that if you want to learn more about this kind of stuff, if you're on Facebook, there's a lot of groups on there, and there's a lot of people like myself who are in these groups, all different levels of expertise. And if you just look for WordPress or WordPress non-technical, and just search for WordPress and join these groups. There are lots of people in there who are willing to give you information on marketing with WordPress and social media and MailChimp. So that's what Icegram looks like, and then you can click on that and it takes you away or back. And then let's just take a look here real quick at the dashboard for WordPress. So if you're not familiar with WordPress, this is the back end of my website, and this is my newest website right here. This is mybook.dennisjsmith.com, and I just want to show you like what it looks like, because this is just one of the themes that I purchased off of ThemeForest, and this is what I'm using to promote my book now. The nice little theme. Let's hide this here, and you can scroll on down. There's the pricing information for the book. If you want to jump onto this website, if you want the PDF version, it's free. You can purchase it on paperback if you want, or on Kindle. I have it for 99 cents right now if you've got a Kindle reader, but you don't need a Kindle reader to read Kindle books. You can get an app on Amazon.com and read it on any smartphone or iPad. So just keep that in mind if you like reading in that format. Or if you still like paperback, you can order that and have that sent to you from my publisher. And if you want to contact me, if you're interested, if you want some more information on self-publishing, just put in your name and your email address. And this is Gravity Forms, just so you can see what a Gravity Form looks like. There's the drop-down list and the message, and then there's a send or submit button at the bottom. And then there's the social information, like I was saying, that on your websites you have these buttons down here at the bottom, and all of these are set to take people to various social media sites that I'm on. And it's a great way to build your audience on social media. So we've covered all of those. I just wanted to make sure that we're good there. Let's go ahead and continue with the slides here, and we're almost ready to wrap up with today's presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and change back over to the slideshow. And again, just remind you at the bottom right there where it says Talk to Us, if you have questions, please enter those in, enter your name and your email address at the bottom, and I'll be more than happy to take a look at those questions and get you an answer. So we've talked about the different WordPress plugins, and now we're ready to move on to Leadpages. So what is a lead page, or what is Leadpages? Leadpages is something that I've been using for over a year, and it's advanced tools, or an advanced tool to capture leads. It integrates with WordPress and websites and Facebook, allows you to create opt-in pages, host webinars, launch pages, so if you're going to launch a product, sales pages, advanced 404 page. And what I mean by that is if somebody goes to your website and they accidentally type in the wrong web address, usually they're going to get a 404 error in the browser, and they're not pretty. It doesn't give somebody a lot of information on what's going on, like why are you here? Why am I getting this page? And Leadpages allows you to create a really nice 404 page so that you can capture information. So say, hey, while you're here, enter in your email address and I'll give you this free guide to whatever, or the top 10 ways to do this. And it's a good way to gain leads. If you look at your stats for your website, I'm willing to bet that a lot of websites out there have these 404 errors because people just, for some reason, they type in something wrong, or maybe a link is outdated, and so they get to your website, and so you give them this information and then give them a way to get to the homepage of the website so that they can move forward through your website. Upsell pages is the last one that I have listed on there. Leadpages does so much more than that. If you go to leadpages.com, then you'll be able to see all of the information on what Leadpages will do for you. Let's just go ahead and we'll move on here to resources, and we're coming up on about, it looks like 45 after, so we're just about ready to wrap up today's webinar. I just want to go through some resources that some of these we've already talked about, and remind you that I'm going to send you that PDF that has a list of what I've talked about and a few other links to some things that I think are beneficial to someone wanting to build their audience. MailChimp We talked about MailChimp and using that for email marketing, and we just got through there talking about WordPress, and WordPress.org is their main website. I have ilearnwp.com, which is a website that I started with information regarding WordPress, and my focus on there is to try to talk about some of the plugins and videos, because one of the things that I found the hardest was when I was putting together websites and looking for plugins. You get good information on WordPress.org, but I wanted to see like a video of what it does, what it looks like before I actually chose one to install to my website. You can install plugins and see what it does, and if it doesn't do what you're looking for, you can definitely deactivate it and delete it and try something different. So that's why I started ilearnwp.com, is just to put up some videos and some articles on specific plugins. So take a look at that. There's also a lot of good information for those who are getting started with WordPress. I have 3 pages of nothing but resources and videos for people who are getting started with WordPress, so it makes it a lot easier for you to start learning it, just like I did years ago. Leadpages.com, we just talked about that. Go to leadpages.com for some more information on what they do. I think that they have a great product. I've been using it for a while. I don't have necessarily a really large mailing list, but it is growing, and it's just all of these different things that I'm doing when I'm promoting the book. If you're an author out there, just a quick tip is that you want something like a landing page to give out to somebody when you have a free promo or something like that on Amazon.com, because if you just send them to Amazon.com like I did in the beginning when I had the free download day, I wasn't getting the information that I needed, and that was because I was sending them to Amazon.com and wasn't capturing their information. Amazon.com gets that information, and they're not going to give it to me because of Privacy Act. So I developed a different website, or different websites like the mybook.com there, that the website is designed, or mybook.dennisjsmith.com is designed for me to capture information if somebody were to download a free PDF. And with other websites, I gather an email address and then send them to Amazon.com and send them a nice email thanking them for downloading my book and letting them know more about what I do. And then when you have a second book, you have more people that are following you that you can send out and say, if you like my first book, here's my second book. So that's just a little tip for those of you who are self-publishers out there like myself. Themeforest.com is a great website to find these premium themes. WordPress.org has a ton of free themes, so if you're on a budget, which is understandable, there's lots of great themes out there on WordPress.org. If you're searching online for themes, make sure that they're coming from a reputable source so that you're getting good quality themes and not something that might be designed to cause harm. So just keep that in mind. gravityforms.com and copyblogger.com. Copyblogger.com is a website that I love, and I recommend that you go to their website and you sign up for their free downloads, their ebooks. Get a ton of ebooks with a lot more detailed information than we're talking about today on email marketing and how to grow your audience and capture leads and all of that. So go over to copyblogger.com when you're done and sign up for their free resources and download their ebooks. Lots of good stuff there. And we talked about there at the beginning, before we end today's webinar, I just wanted to let you know about my new course. This is a course that has over 22 lessons. It's on a site called udemy.com. The course is typically $20, and there's a lot of courses on udemy.com that are a lot more than that, $50 and $100. Right now, because you're watching this webinar, I've got a special coupon code there at the bottom. You can register for just $5. And if you're watching the replay of this webinar, there should be a button that comes up about now, and you can use that to go on over and register for that for this course. It's Marketing Your Business with WordPress, 21 Ways in 21 Days. Learn the tools for better marketing with WordPress. So we've talked about all of these other tools. This one is specifically focused on all of these different tools out there and goes more into detail about landing pages and lead pages and MailChimp and all of these different tools. If you go to that web address there, which is bit.ly/WP webinar 5, it'll take you on over to the Udemy course so that you can register for just $5. So you get this course that's 22 lessons, along with every lesson comes with a PDF. So anything that I talk about during that lesson, it's on that PDF so that you can refer back to it. And at the end of the course, you get a download of my book. So if you don't go to my book, DennisJSmith.com, you can get it at the end of this course. That's bit.ly/WP webinar 5 to take this course for just $5. So right now typically would be the questions part of the webinar, and because again I'm using a new software, and that software is from RunClick, and if you're interested in RunClick, at the bottom of this video, or if you're watching it from webinar.dennisjsmith.com, there's a link that will take you to RunClick if you want to know how you can do your own webinars like this. Very cool technology. It's second edition of it, so there's still some things. This is the first time that I've used it for a live webinar, so I'm still trying to figure a few things out. I apologize about that, but if you go to Talk to Us at the bottom right hand corner, you should be able to put in a question, and I should be able to answer that question. Go back and take a look at that and answer that question. Or if you go to DennisJSmith.com and look for Contact Us or Contact Me in the upper right, you can send me a message, and that'll definitely get emailed to me, and I'll be more than happy to respond if you have any questions on anything that I've talked about today. So for my closing thoughts, the reason why I did this webinar is because I believe in tools like WordPress and MailChimp and social media. It's what I've used to sell almost 1,000 copies of my book, which you can get a free copy of that book by taking that course that we just talked about, or by going to mybook.dennisjsmith.com. But these are the tools that I've used to build my business and build my mailing list. And also this webinar is another tool in building your audience. So again, this is a great way for you to get out there and show what you know to your customers or sell your product to your clients by utilizing WordPress, MailChimp, and social media. So I want to thank you very much for attending today. Again, my name is Dennis J. Smith. My name is Dennis Smith, and I'm at DennisJSmith.com. Boy, I'm becoming a website there. And you can also find my webinars, upcoming webinars, at webinar.dennisjsmith.com. And then we talked about iLearnWP.com and greenhostusa.com. Thank you very much. I hope that you've learned something, or you were able to take away something from this webinar. If you would like to contact me, again, DennisJSmith.com, look for Contact Us or Contact Me and send me a message. Thank you very much for attending today, and have a great rest of your day.